If you can't manage your emotions, you can't manage your money. Who said that? You know who said that? It was actually Warren Buffett who said that. And as much as I despise his political take on things, and I think he makes a lot of disingenuous statements when it comes to those things, I 100% agree with his statement. If you can't manage your emotions, you can't manage your money. Okay? Which means you cannot grow your money. You can't get involved and grow a business, start a business. You can't become successful if you can't manage your emotions. And the one thing I've noticed about the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, including many of the ones that I've met, many of the ones that are in my own entrepreneurs group that I run, that's in Santa Monica. We have close to 2,000 members now. I noticed that the most successful entrepreneurs that I've ever met and that I've ever seen out there have a high degree of self-awareness. Okay? They might not always do the right thing with it, right? I mean, there are some out there that I'm like, man, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Right? However, they're not stupid, right? They have a high degree of self-awareness. They know exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and they're in full control, right? Which makes them even more dangerous, actually, is because they know they're doing it. They're not disillusioned by anything. They know exactly what they're doing, right or wrong. So that is something I noticed about people who are successful financially, is they have just the highest level of self-awareness and control over their emotions, whereas the people who are struggling the most financially or the most financially unsuccessful are usually not in control of their emotions. That's why they spend like drunken sailors. This is why they get themselves into so much debt they can't pay off. They take out loans, they get credit cards, you know, they borrow money that they never are able to pay back because they don't have the discipline to do it. They don't have the discipline to manage money, right? Because it's a skill set, right? It is literally a skill set. And I did a coaching video last year. It was about entrepreneurship, and I talked about why entrepreneurship is not for everybody, right? Because there's a lot of risk involved, there's a lot of sleepless nights involved, and there's a lot of mental toughness involved that most people are not designed to go through. It doesn't mean they're not strong enough to do it. It's just they're not designed for it. And if they're not, you know, and even if they are designed for it, their circumstances aren't designed for it. They might have just had a newborn baby or something, or they might have kids that they need to take care of, and you know, they're having to support their family financially, and it's not, you know, a viable option to go out there and, you know, try to strike it rich by starting a business where they could lose everything, as I did when I left my corporate job and I proceeded to lose all of my savings, right? I mean, I can't imagine if I had a family or a newborn baby that I was taking care of. I can't imagine just the overload of stress I would have felt, you know, trying to start a new business, you know, and constantly failing, which I did. Right? I went through over a dozen failures before I finally hit a business, before I finally hit success. And the reason I was able to keep pushing through and gambling and taking risks and rolling the dice on myself is because it's just me. I'm like, if I harm anybody, I'm just harming myself, really. I don't have, you know, kids or anything like that. And that's the reason why I didn't have kids for the longest time, right? That's why I chose not to have kids, because I didn't want to put them through that. And I know just my mentality, I'm kind of a gambler like that, right? It's not a good environment for a child. So that's why I never had kids, you know, not to mention there are several kids in my family that I pretty much raised. And so I pretty much got burnt out on raising kids. So whenever guys ask me like, hey, how come you never had kids? Well, I've raised a ton in my family, and the last thing I want to do is go have my own. Not to mention my financial circumstances throughout most of my life. So understand, in order to manage your money, you must be able to manage your emotions. In order to become financially successful, you must have control over your emotional state. You cannot do things impulsively. You cannot buy things impulsively. You cannot take out loans impulsively. Okay, you have to be wise with your money. Okay, and you have to be strategic in your decisions. And one thing that you'll learn too is once you do reach a level of financial success where you have money in the bank and you have money to invest, you realize that that comes with a new set of not only responsibilities but skill sets. You know, it's just a whole new skill set that you have to learn, managing your money so that you can hang on to it, so you don't lose it. Right? It's just like a lot of these professional athletes or rappers. You see them, you know, like have one good album where they make all this money, or you see an athlete, you know, sign a pro contract and he makes all this, you know, all this money in a short amount of time. And within a few years after his career is over, that money is gone. Why? Because he didn't manage it properly, right? Because he never learned the skill set of how to manage that money. And this is why it's important that once you do achieve a level of financial success, you have to learn how to manage your money. And that takes discipline, right? It takes patience. It takes mental patience. And like I said, it's a skill set all in itself. I mean, it's one thing to learn how to build a business, how to grow that business, how to market that business. It's another thing to learn how to manage the money that you make from that business. And that was something that I wasn't even prepared for, you know, when my business took off. It was completely oblivious to me because all my life, all I focused on was making more money, right? And that's what everybody focuses on. And then suddenly when you start to bring in large amounts of money, now you're hit with the question like, what do I do with this? How do I manage this? Where do I invest it? Where do I put it? Not knowing if it's going to end one day, right? Not knowing like, hey, what if my business turns upside down overnight? What do I do? You know, you want to protect what you've made, right? Just like with these rappers, these professional athletes, where they get this big chunk of money overnight, seemingly, and they don't know what to do with it, right? They have to plan strategically in order to continue to grow that money, you know, invest that money properly, and be in a position where the money doesn't doesn't disappear suddenly because of bad investments or poor financial choices or poor spending habits, right? So, I mean, for me personally, I'm constantly looking to reinvest in my business. I'm constantly looking to gobble up other businesses that I see opportunity in, and I'm constantly looking to invest in other companies and other entrepreneurs, as well as invest in stocks. And, you know, I mean, there's just so much, there's just a whole new set of responsibilities that come along once you start to have money, you know. And this is why I thought it'd be important to mention this in tonight's coaching video, what Warren Buffett said, that if you can't manage your emotions, you can't manage your money, and why it's so important. And you see what happens to these guys who never learn that skill, who can't manage their emotions. And really, when you see these like professional athletes just go ahead, like they go and splurge all their money on bottle service, flying private jets, you know, spending $50,000 a night at Cheesecake Factory, which I heard one basketball player doing. I think it was like 50 grand, something crazy like that. These guys are all now broke, right? I know of one professional athlete. I think he moved back in with his parents. This guy made like all this money, moved back in with his parents. There was one NBA player who, forget his name, but he made $110 million in the NBA. Now he's working at Starbucks. What happened, right? How did he blow all that money? You know, it's because he couldn't manage his emotions, right? His emotions allowed him to, gave him the permission to just keep spending that money like a drunken sailor. And then till one day he woke up, got a call from his accountant, said, hey, all the money's gone. What? These guys are always in shock too. What? What do you mean it's all gone? Well, where do you think it went, dude? You weren't investing it. You weren't buying houses. You weren't buying real estate. You weren't investing in the stock market or the S&P 500. You're just going out and spending it and buying liabilities. You weren't buying assets. You were buying liabilities. And that's one thing that I'm always careful, is I don't buy liabilities, and I buy assets that produce more income, more cash flow. This is why I mentioned in a number of coaching videos, that's what I look for. I look for other cash flowing websites that I could just gobble up and purchase, and then hand off to my team and be like, here, run this, right? Because it's an asset, right? So it has to produce something of income, something of value. And a lot of these professional athletes who, I'm just using them as a tiny example, who lose tens of millions of dollars and then end up going bankrupt just a few years after their careers are over. These are basically guys that didn't and were not able to manage their emotions, right? And this is why the spending got out of hand. You saw this happen with like MC Hammer, right? Remember MC Hammer? He had like 33 million bucks. What happened? That was a lot of money back in the day, right? I mean, still is, but I mean, especially back in the day, that was a huge chunk of change. And all of a sudden, just a few years later, you start hearing these rumors that he's broke, and then it turned out to be true. He lost everything. Why? Because he was spending like there was no tomorrow. He was spending money like water. And then he woke up one day and realized, like, oh, nobody's coming to the shows anymore. Nobody's buying the albums anymore. It ain't Hammer time no more. I'm not bringing in the dough anymore. I have this full staff that I hired, and most of those people were just, basically taking his money, so he didn't manage his money correctly. He didn't manage his money wisely or strategically, and then he ended up going bankrupt after having $33 million. I mean, if he just took that money and put it in a bank account, he would have been better off. He could have lived off the interest, right? Rather than continuing to spend it. So, and that goes for a lot of these, professional athletes and rappers and, people who are lottery winners as well. Lottery winners are another one, right? You see so many lottery winners get this big lump sum, this big payment, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. And then within less than a decade, that money's gone. Why? Because they never learned to manage their emotions, to limit their spending, to stop buying liability, to start buying assets, right? One book I would recommend people read, especially if you're new to managing money, is that I learned a ton from, is Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Learn about the cash flow quadrant, right? Learn about that. I mean, I don't agree with everything Robert Kiyosaki says, but that is definitely something that you will learn a lot from. So I would start there. But as always, guys, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video. If there's anything I missed, anything you'd like to add, please share in the comments below. I always love to see you guys, my comments. I always love to read them. So drop those comments below. And until next time, this is Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets signing out here from my Range Rover, right? This is one of the last series of coaching videos I'm doing here in my Range Rover. Still hard. It's really hard to let this car go, but this is the last series of coaching videos I'm doing in here. So don't forget to smash the like button below. Smash that like button right now. Also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Helps me out a ton when you actually subscribe to my Alpha Male Secrets channel. I've been checking my analytics, man. And too many of you guys are still not yet subscribed to the Alpha Male Secrets channel here on the YouTube. So please make sure you're subscribed as well. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And, just help a brother out and subscribe. And for you guys who love my work and all of this amazing content I'm teaching you here on the Alpha Male Secrets, the best way to support my work is becoming a premium member of my premium Alpha Male Secrets channel, which I am hosting on a private platform away from YouTube. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm protecting my content from YouTube in the event they try to shut me down one day. They won't be able to, because all my content will be protected. It is being protected on my private platform. So this is the absolute best way to support my work, is becoming a premium Alpha Male Secrets subscriber on my premium Alpha Male Secrets channel, which is being hosted on a private platform. Right now, it's only $1 for the entire first month of premium Alpha Male Secrets content from me. So take advantage of it. Okay, all you need to do is click the link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds, so do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video. I'm out.